Hey everybody, I've been married to Portia for a while now, and we are lucky enough to still be totally smitten with each other. But that got me thinking about those early days, when you're just figuring each other out and trying to read all the little signals. It can be like a whole secret language, right? So today we're going to decode some of those signals, specifically the language of touch. That's right, we're talking about all those little touches, the brushes, the grazes, the full-on hand-holding. Because let me tell you, a woman's touch can tell you a lot about how she feels. Let's get this party started. Okay, first up we have the classic arm touch. You know what I'm talking about, right? You're in the middle of a conversation, maybe telling a really hilarious joke, and she just casually reaches out and touches your arm. Now, this could be as quick as a little tap, or it could linger for a few seconds. But either way, it's definitely a good sign. Touching someone's arm is a way of creating a physical connection, even if it's just for a moment. Sometimes an arm touch can just be a friendly gesture, a way of emphasizing a point or showing support. Pay attention to her body language. Is she making eye contact? Is she leaning in close? Is she smiling? If so, chances are she's feeling a little bit more than just friendship. Okay, this next one is a classic for a reason. It's the accidental brush. You know the drill. You're walking side by side and suddenly, boom, there's a little bump, a little graze, a little moment of oops, excuse me. Sometimes these collisions are truly accidental. Clumsy people exist, believe me. I've met a few in my time. But other times those accidental brushes are totally intentional. If a woman keeps accidentally bumping into you, it could be her way of testing the waters, seeing how you react to her being in close proximity. Does she pull away quickly, like she's been burned? Or does she linger for a moment, maybe even initiate a little eye contact? Pay attention to her reaction after the bump. Does she seem flustered, maybe a little embarrassed? That's a good sign. All right, let's talk about hair for a minute. Specifically, what it means when a woman starts playing with her hair while she's talking to you. I'm talking about those little subconscious gestures like twirling a strand around her finger, tucking a stray hair behind her ear, or maybe even flipping her hair back over her shoulder. So, what's the deal with hair touching? Well, for starters, it's often a sign of nerves or even a little bit of self-consciousness. When we're attracted to someone, we tend to become hyper-aware of our appearance. But it's not just about nerves. Playing with hair can also be a way of drawing attention to ourselves. Hair is often seen as a symbol of femininity and attractiveness. By touching her hair, she's subconsciously highlighting one of her best features. If you find yourself on the receiving end of some hair-twirling action, take it as a good sign. Chapter 4. Touching your hand during conversation. Touching someone's hand is a whole different ballgame than, say, a quick arm touch. It's a much more intimate gesture, and it usually signifies a deeper level of connection and comfort. Think about it. We use our hands to connect with the world around us, to express ourselves, to show affection. So when a woman reaches out and touches your hand during a conversation, she's letting you into her personal space in a very real way. This touch can take many forms. It could be a gentle squeeze while you're making a point, a light brush of her fingers against yours, or even full-on hand-holding. No matter how it happens, pay attention to how it makes you feel, because when there's a genuine spark between two people, even the simplest touch can feel electric. Chapter 5. Leaning in close to you. Have you ever been talking to someone and they just seem to gravitate towards you, like their body language is screaming, "I want to be closer to you"? Think about it. When we're not interested in someone, we tend to keep our distance. But when we're attracted to someone, all that changes. We subconsciously want to close the gap, to be physically closer to the object of our affection. So if a woman is constantly leaning in close to you, whether you're having a deep conversation or just sharing a laugh, pay attention. She's creating an intimate space between the two of you, and that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. Chapter 6. Lightly touching your back. Now this one can be a little tricky because it can have different meanings depending on the context. A light touch on the back can be a gesture of reassurance, a friendly pat of encouragement, or even just a polite way of guiding someone through a crowded room. But, and this is a big but, it can also be a super flirty move. Your back is a vulnerable part of your body. It's not easy to protect, and it's not a place where we usually welcome touch from just anyone. So when a woman lightly touches your back, she's showing a certain level of trust and intimacy. I'm talking about those subtle touches, like a quick pat on the back after you tell a funny joke, a gentle hand on your back as she's passing by, or even just her fingers brushing against your back as you're walking side by side. These little touches are her way of making a connection. Chapter 7. Resting her hand on your shoulder. Okay, let's talk about shoulders. More specifically, what it means when a woman rests her hand on your shoulder. This gesture can be a little bit ambiguous because it can be totally platonic, like a friendly pat on the back, but it can also be a major flirtation signal. Pay attention to the duration of the touch. Is it a quick tap, or does her hand linger for a few seconds? The longer the touch, the more likely it is that she's feeling something more than just friendship. Also, take note of her body language. Is she leaning in close to you? Is she making eye contact? Is she smiling? If so, those are all good signs that she's trying to tell you something. And finally, trust your gut. Sometimes you just know when a touch is more than just a touch. Chapter 8. Touching your leg under the table. Okay, folks, buckle up because we're about to enter the danger zone, the leg touch. This is not your average everyday touch. This is a bold move, a power play, a sign that someone is not afraid to make their feelings known. So, if you find yourself on the receiving end of a little under-the-table action, you can be sure that you've caught her attention. A leg touch is a very intimate gesture. It's usually reserved for people we feel extremely comfortable with, and it often carries a strong sexual connotation. So, if a woman touches your leg under the table, she's definitely sending a message that she's interested in taking things to the next level. The key is to be respectful of her boundaries and to make sure that you're both on the same page. Chapter 9. Giving you a playful shove. Sometimes the best way to show affection is through a little playful teasing. And what better way to do that than with a good old-fashioned shove? Now, I'm not talking about a full-on tackle here. I'm talking about those lighthearted shoves, the ones that are more about making contact than actually pushing someone over. It's like a little jolt of electricity, a way of saying, "Hey, you're cute, and I can't help but mess with you a little bit." The beauty of a playful shove is that it's a great way to break the touch barrier without things getting too serious. Plus, it's a great way to gauge someone's sense of humor. If she responds to your playful shove with a laugh and a shove of her own, you know you've got a good one on your hands. So, the next time you're with a woman you're interested in, don't be afraid to give her a little nudge. Chapter 10. Hugging you often. All right, let's talk about hugs. Hugs are the best, aren't they? They're like a warm blanket for your soul. But hugs can also be incredibly telling, especially when it comes to romantic interest. If you notice that a woman goes out of her way to hug you frequently, it's definitely a sign that she enjoys your company and feels comfortable being close to you. Think about it. A hug is a way of physically expressing affection, warmth, and closeness. It's a way of saying, "I like you, I care about you, and I want to be near you." So if a woman is hugging you often, it's a good sign that she feels a certain level of connection with you. If you're getting those genuine, heartfelt hugs that linger for a few extra seconds, chances are she's feeling something more than just friendship. So there you have it, folks. 10 telltale signs that a woman is trying to send you a message with her touch. Remember, body language is a powerful thing, and it can often reveal a lot more about a person's feelings than words ever could. But if you pay attention to her body language, trust your gut, and aren't afraid to ask for clarification when you need it, you'll be well on your way to understanding the secret language of touch. Thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, be kind to one another, stay hydrated, and always dance like nobody's watching. See ya!